Pakistani businesses, I've noticed, are designed in a way to firstly benefit the business owner, then friends and family of the business owner in the company. Third पे आ जाते हैं partners, suppliers, investors. Fourth पे आ जाते हैं customers. And fifth पे जाके employees. All right? Foreign companies में क्या होता है? Number 1 पे customer है. Number 2 पे customer है. Number 3 पे जाके वो फिर अपनी एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल जो एलोकेशन ऑफ रिसोर्सेज है उनको देखते हैं. उसमें एम्प्लॉयज़ भी आ जाते हैं, उसमें पार्टनर्स और इन्वेस्टर्स भी आ जाते हैं. So this is something that the ideology needs to be changed and corrected and literally preached out there. That you need to build your business around your customer and you need to be improving lives of your employees as well. Unicorn बनने का सबको शौक है, लेकिन they don't replicate truly what all of those companies did. They improved the lives of their customers and their employees.
AI और computers और ये वो कुछ चीज़ें उसको obviously improve कर देंगे, कोई शक नहीं है इसमें. लेकिन जो एक one-to-one human relation है ना, उसको कोई AI कोई कंप्यूटर चेंज नहीं कर सकता, मुझे नहीं लगता.
सर्फ एक्सेल को 15 साल लग गए लोगों को ये चीज़ यूज टू कराने में कि वॉशिंग पाउडर की जगह जाओ सर्फ ले आओ. करीम ने 2 साल में आके टैक्सी ले आओ की जगह करीम कर दिया. सो दिस इज द वर्ड ऑफ माउथ दैट वर्क्स.
लोगों को क्यों नहीं एक्सपोजर समझ आता जब सारी वीडियोस ऑनलाइन गिवन है. फॉर एग्जांपल, या जैसे आप कहते हो कि यार एक बंदा है वो दुबई देख सकता है ऑन देयर फोन और दे कैन वॉच और दे कैन सी के शिकागो में क्या हो रहा है, ये वो सी देख सकते हैं न्यूयॉर्क में क्या चल रहा है. आप जितना मर्जी उसको वीडियो दिखा लो, ठीक है, उस बंदे को उठाओ और एक दिन दुबई खड़ा करोगे ना, वो एक्सपीरियंस कोई बीट नहीं कर सकता. ठीक है, द वेरी फैक्ट दैट you're breathing it, you're seeing it, you can touch it, you can eat it, whatever, the immersive experience of the real world, I don't think can ever be replicated in the virtual world. Yes, you can create a virtual world which can give you that experience, but kis tarah hawa, sight, sounds, everything that the way your brain processes that information. Even अच्छा, और ये तो मैं तुम्हें चलो हायर उसमें लेके जा रहा हूँ. अगर मुझे तुम कितनी वीडियोस दिखा दो फ्लड्स की कि यार ये देखो लोग पानी के नीचे हैं, ऑल ऑफ दैट. अगर तुम मुझे एक दिन वहां जाके कहो ना कि रहो बेटे, सही है, तो वो जो एक्सपीरियंस है ना, वो मैं कभी रेप्लिकेट नहीं कर सकता. मैं यहाँ बैठ के जितनी मर्जी दुआएं कर लूँ या पैसे भेज दूँ या व्हाटएवर, वो मच्छरों में एक रात गुजारो एंड देन यू विल नो कि वो वही ना बूट्स ऑन द ग्राउंड वाली जो बात.
इफ आई टॉक अबाउट ऑल इन ऑल पैन पाकिस्तान, I see the same trend that, again, it has been taken hostage by the elite because the elite come from a good financial or political background. They're settled. They can afford to take a few risks with their career and their money, their time and their money. But not a lot of people have that.
Growth हो बेहतरीन है, लेकिन सस्टेनेबल हो ना, किसी चीज़ के साथ लिंक्ड हो. कोई इस्लामाबाद में इंडस्ट्री नहीं है, ठीक है, इस्लामाबाद में सिर्फ सर्विस इंडस्ट्री है, ये स्टार्टअप मशरूम व्हाटएवर या ये टेलकोज और फलाना. एंड द कॉस्ट ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस इज सो हाई, लाइक रेंट्स आर हाई, बिजली महंगी है, एवरीथिंग यू पे प्रीमियम फॉर जस्ट लिविंग इन इस्लामाबाद, लाइक द फूड प्राइसेस आर हायर, everything is higher.
My goals and dreams were pretty clear to me by the end of my 20s. I have had an amazing 20s, and I would really want people to invest a lot in themselves during their 20s. Because that's the time that you can do things, you can take risks, make mistakes, and you're going to be learning a lot. And you need to be satisfied with how you spent your 20s. I've seen that regret in 30s and 40-year-old people that, I wish I'd done that, all of that. Don't be that person. Do what you can when you can, especially in your 20s. So you will be able to, be confident and you will be able to look ahead. All right? आपने अपनी ड्रीम वेकेशन पे जाना है, आप कर लेंगे. आपने अपनी ड्रीम कार लेनी है, आप ले लेंगे. बट देयर इज always going to be something next. You can't just be letting a few sports cars dictate your success, a piece of land to just tell that how successful you have been. You have to keep on engaging. You have to keep on going at it. My name is Muhammad Waleed, and I have been in Islamabad for most of my life. And this is where I've studied, this is where I've worked. And most of the startups that I've worked with have also been based out of Islamabad, but primarily they were based out of US, Middle East, and North Africa. And very recently, I joined an Australian startup that's Next Order. So that's a new market for me, and I'm excited to join them.
Okay. So you're primarily in sales, right?
Yes, sales and business development.
Okay. So सबसे पहले तो हम बात करते हैं, थोड़ी ऑफ टॉपिक बात करते हैं कि मैं इस्लामाबाद में तकरीबन हमेशा से ही हूँ,
Yeah.
सही है, राइट? एंड you've seen me open businesses as well and going down and all of that,
Yes.
ठीक है? मेरा ये तुमसे सवाल है कि what do you think about the Islamabadi work ethic?
Islamabadi work ethic.
Yeah.
Oh, I might be breaking some hearts here, but it's been changing a lot, and most of the people that live here are basically salaried personnel who have jobs, or they're government officials. So this city was built by the government officials. This is how we came here. My grandfather was in the government. So yeah, so that has been very very slow, that development. But after the telcos, there have been an influx of tech-based startups that have started setting up their offices over here. People used to prefer the markets of Lahore and Karachi because they used to get more people there and also lesser amount of compensations. But Islamabad has had a better influx, a more influx of population now. Population bhi बढ़ गई है, तो obviously talent bhi बढ़ गया. So that's how it's been growing, and it's been getting better. And I see not a boom in the business industry over here, but it's a start, and there is more room here. There has been development of projects, and there has been some support from the government as well.
इस्लामाबादी वर्क एथिक के बारे में अगर मैं कोई बात करूँ ना, सही है, तो वो ये है कि यहाँ पे बहुत देयर समथिंग इन द एयर दैट आई थिंक कि हम लोगों को काम करने का कोई ख़ास दिल नहीं करता, सही है, जिसको आप हायर करो, लाइक मैंने इतने बिजनेसेस रख लिए हैं, 80-90 लोग हैं हमारे पास, कुछ बहुत रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं है, लेकिन 50-60% आई वुड से कि आर सो लेड बैक, चिल्ड आउट, भाई कोई काम करना ही नहीं है, रिलैक्स करेंगे हम टाइम पे नहीं आएंगे, हम अगर किसी से कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन करेंगे तो हम कोई अपना वर्क एथिक शो नहीं कराएंगे. ये क्यों तुम्हें लगता है? तुमने ऐसा कभी फील किया अपने?
Definitely किया है. And I would first want you to answer this, that have you felt that there is a reason behind everybody? Yeah, is there a generic reason, or is it related person to personnel?
यार मुझे लगता है कि आई थिंक प्रिविलेज है मेन रीज़न इस चीज़ के पीछे, क्योंकि इस्लामाबाद में यू सी के रोडें शोडें ये सब कुछ बहुत ईजी है, देयर इज़ नॉट अ लॉट ऑफ, आई मीन देयर इज़ हसल, बट लाइक इन कंपैरिजन टू कराची एंड लाहौर देयर इज़ नो हसल. क्या नाम है, बहुत ज़्यादा यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं यहाँ पे, सही है, तो यू डू गेट अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल कमिंग इन, बट जो भी यहाँ यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में पढ़ रहे हैं ना, वो लाइक अमीर है. मैं अमीर की भी एक रिलेटिव सेंस है यहाँ पे, सही है, लेकिन according to the statistics by Miftah Ismail, सही है, so 30,000 people every year do A levels.
All right.
So अगर पूरे मुल्क में करोड़ों का मुल्क है, सही है, तो अगर यहाँ पे एक बड़ी पॉपुलेशन वो कर रही है ना, तो आप ये कह सकते हो कि यार आप प्रिविलेज हो, इसमें कोई बड़ी बात नहीं, सही है. तो जब वो प्रिविलेज है, उनके पास घर है, या वो they're living in their parents' houses and all that, there's no like need to like चूल्हा नहीं जल रहा आपका, ठीक है, आप whatever happens you can still go back to your parents' basement, right?
That's true.
ये मुझे लगता है मेजर रीजन है. तुम्हारा क्या ख्याल है?
That is one of the reasons, but I have also seen people work really hard, work round the clock. For example, this past 1 year, I worked with multiple companies, and I also managed to work at every hour of day and night. And I felt very lucky because essentially 2022 was the year of layoffs.
Yeah.
And alhamdulillah, I had work, but I felt privileged because of that. And I did look at people who were taking their opportunities for granted.
Yeah.
So yes, there is a vibe, there is a certain vibe around that, but you have to see which age bracket is actually doing all of that. Most of them are fresh graduates. And what happens to a fresh graduate? There are a few things that the other person is going to be doing. They're going to go for higher studies. They're going to go into jobs and everything. That is probably going to be through a reference. So there's one privilege point for you over there. And the third reason is business and how to do business for a fresh grad. They get money out of inheritance or gifts or whatever you may want to call it. So when somebody has not made the money that they're
Spending.
Yeah. And this is a major reason that I see. That the elite has kind of taken the startup ecosystem of specifically Islamabad, because this is where I've worked mostly.
Yeah.
And if I talk about all in all pan-Pakistan, I see the same trend that, again, it has been taken hostage by the elite because the elite come from a good financial or political background. they're settled. They can afford to take a few risks with their career and their money, their
Yeah.
time and their money.
Yeah.
But not a lot of people have that. So people are following the wrong people. People are following the people who again have not made the money that they're basically showing to the awam, to actually get them lured into them to work with them.
हाँ, लेकिन इस्लामाबाद के इवन जो फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट्स ही कह लो, चलो जो भी हैं, वो दे डोंट प्राइमरीली कम फ्रॉम, मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा अमीर नहीं होंगे. आई एम जस्ट सेइंग दैट बिकॉज देखो, आपके जब इर्द गिर्द ऐसा इन्वायरमेंट नहीं है ना जहाँ पे और लोग भी बहुत ज़्यादा मेहनत कर रहे हो, जो आपको कराची लाहौर में मिलेगा, सही है, आपकी ना वो दैट अर्ज टू डू मोर वो ख़त्म हो जाती है. लाइक आपने देखा होगा यहाँ से लोग उठ के जब बाहर जाते हैं, दे आर मच बेटर एट द वर्क कहते हैं, क्योंकि सब कुछ सिर पे गिरा होता है उस वक्त, ठीक है ना. सो यू कांट जस्ट स्लैक ऑफ एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. बट यहाँ पे क्योंकि कोई कह रहा हूँ ना, कोई वाइब है इस शहर की जिसमें इट्स वेरी हार्ड टू फाइंड पीपल विद अ गुड वर्क एथिक, और जो हैं वो फिर फिट चल रहे हैं, ठीक है, जिनका है अच्छा वर्क एथिक, देर प्रोग्रेसिंग इज वेल, देर डूइंग देयर बेस्ट इन व्हाटएवर दे आर डूइंग. बट मेजॉरिटी ऑफ देम, जिनको एटलीस्ट जिनका मेरे से पाला पड़ा है, बहुत क्लियर लैक ऑफ वर्क एथिक है, जो आई डोंट नो कुछ शहर के साथ लिंक्ड होगा. और खैर, दिस इज ऑफ टॉपिक. मुझे ये बताओ कि क्या व्हाट इज द ग्रेटेस्ट थिंग दैट यू हैव लर्नड when it comes to sales and business development?
Sales and business development, they've actually brushed me a lot as the person I am today. And I've tried to incorporate all of the skills that I've learned into my day-to-day routine and life as well. For example, when I was at Careem, I formally started working with startups when I started working with Careem. So that was a huge opportunity because I started off as just an intern. And being at an entry level, I had access to such amazing analytics that I could actually strategize the partnership deals that I'm going to be, looking out for. I was able to make contact with multinationals, leaderships of multinationals, and it was a very empowering opportunity.
At internship level?
No, I actually was, for a few weeks even, I was the only employee working in the business development department. So there was one drawback throughout that year, that there was a lot of change in the directorate for business development. It was kind of them playing catch with the business development department. But I saw an opportunity over there that if there is a new department, I could very well structurize it. So I laid the foundations of their relationship with the oil marketing companies. I saw that they're the big fish. I saw that they have been untapped. Nobody was touching them. Everybody was all about telcos because that was what was happening in Islamabad at that time. Yeah. So I went on for the oil marketing companies. It was difficult. They have a lot of protocols that you have to get through, a lot of people. But that's the thing about sales and business development. You have to get to the decision maker, all right? And you have to follow the entire process throughout. So that was pretty empowering, getting to deal with multinational leaderships, the entire panels on my own. And
तो सीखा क्या, मुझे ये बताओ कि लाइक सेल्स आपको एज अ पर्सन जो है वो कैसे चेंज करती है?
Yes. So with Careem, I learned body language at an exceptional level because I was meeting people face to face in person. So that changed when I went to Keep Truckin', which is another mobility startup, but they are into fleet management, So that changed because over there, I won't be looking at my prospect, right? I would be talking to them on the call. So I learned quite a bit about tonality over there as well. So body language and tonality, they come together in you being a business development and sales professional.
Yeah.
And they've played a huge part in my life, Hamza. I even notice a lot of people when, I read people because of that, and it's able to it helps me deal with them in a much better way when you're prepared. Basically, sales is all about four things, Hamza: prepare, understand, recommend, and follow through. So these are the steps that you should be taking if you're going on towards anything. So this is what comes in the preparation. You have to be prepared for anything that comes out. And the other bit, understanding, you have to be listening very actively. People think that sales is a lot about talking well. It is, but I rate active listening higher than talking well, because if you can understand what the other person is saying, only then you will be able to come from a position of strength and be able to recommend, which is the third step. Then you can present your solution to them in a much better way.
Very nicely structuredly put. तो मुझे ये बताओ कि यार ठीक है तुमने sales and business development सीखी बेहतरीन. You were talking about a social welfare project that you also did.
Yes, I informally started my career in social welfare and human development. My first internship was with Sustainable Development Policy Institute, and my job over there was a research associate. It was my first internship. I was still in A levels when I did that,
Nice.
and my job was to run through all of the socioeconomic problems, any events that had happened throughout the country, and then summarize those reports, and so that SDPI could work on policies developing that. So I saw I got a chance to get out of my Islamabadi privilege and look at what's happening around the country.
Yeah.
And there are so many segments, so many different kinds of people. All right, it's not just हमारे Beacon House के लोग or people that I play football with. It's the Pakistan is a lot more to do.
वो तो कहते हैं कि इस्लामाबाद तो 10 किलोमीटर बाहर है पाकिस्तान से.
Absolutely, it's our model city, and this is the best one we have. So I hope that other cities, every city has their own theme, their own vibe. We have 1,000-year-old city Lahore as well.
But पाकिस्तान की vibe ये कि वो इस्लामाबाद की vibe ये कि वो privileged है.
वो privileged है. ये बिल्कुल आपकी सही बात है. ये privileged है. लेकिन इस privilege के अंदर ही काम रहते हुए काम भी आसानी से हो सकते हैं. Because I was facilitated a lot, and the project that we were doing, the one you're mentioning, we actually started a school for free education, and we ran it for 2 years. My friend who was leading it at that point is still running an edtech company. He actually dedicated his entire career towards that.
Yeah.
And that was, again, another opportunity for all of us to get out of our privilege. In the same capital that we live, there is a slum, and people don't have access to anything, basically. No clean water, no education, no nothing. Education तो उनकी priorities में आता ही नहीं है.
बिल्कुल.
तो फिर that was an opportunity, a huge chance to connect with people, understand their problems, and we did it quite well for people, for basically teenagers right out of high school. We did quite a well job, and that's where the social linkage of Islamabad helped us. We rose funding because of that. We did multiple awareness programs, and we were supported because it's a small city. Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
So that's why we were able to gather people around that.
थोड़ा सा annoying नहीं है कि सब लोग एक दूसरे को जानते हैं, मतलब
that's changing now.
Yeah.
Because after post 2013, I believe a lot of people from South Punjab and Sindh have moved to Islamabad. You have seen the changes in the traffic. You have seen how land is not that much available anymore. I was reading some stats that the demand for housing units is 350,000 per year in Islamabad, and the supply is 100,000. So there's still a shortage of 200,000
हाँ ना,
units.
लेकिन इस्लामाबाद डिज़ाइन ही नहीं हुआ ना इतने ज़्यादा लोगों की आदम के आने के लिए. सही है. एंड देन यू सी ऑल ऑफ द रियल एस्टेट प्रोजेक्ट्स जो यहाँ पे इस वक्त बने हुए हैं, बट उसके साथ जो प्रॉब्लम्स आ रहे हैं कि वो सारा का सारा स्ट्रेस एक हाईवे के ऊपर आ जाता है, और वो हाईवे अगर कोई 2 टायर जला के बंद कर दे तो यू आर लाइक कटिंग ऑफ मे बी most of what Islamabad is. Like 20 लाख बंदे अगर ये कहते हैं 2 million 2.5 million यहाँ रहते हैं.
Yes.
और उस हिसाब से देखो तो मेरा ख्याल है वो 2.5 million में से 0.5 million ये F and G areas and I areas में रहते हैं. सही है. और फिर जो बाकी हैं मेरा ख्याल है 1.5 million होंगे जो वो सारे उस साइड पे रहते हैं. सो आई मीन थोड़ा सा शेयर भी जो है ना वो आपको कहता है कि यार ये दिस इज द बाउंड्री वॉल, यहाँ से उधर रहो, एंड दिस इज हाउ इट इज प्लान. मतलब वही वाला मसला है कि प्लानिंग इतनी है नहीं, एंड हम बढ़ाई जा रहे हैं. उसको बिकम व्हाट कराची इज राइट नाउ. तो मतलब या सो वी हैव टू थिंक अबाउट दीज थिंग्स एज वेल, डोंट यू थिंक? मतलब कि ग्रोथ हो बेहतरीन है, लेकिन सस्टेनेबल हो ना, किसी चीज़ के साथ लिंक्ड हो. कोई लाइक इस्लामाबाद में इंडस्ट्री नहीं है, ठीक है. इस्लामाबाद में सिर्फ सर्विस इंडस्ट्री है, ये स्टार्टअप मशरूम व्हाटएवर या ये टेलकोज और फलाना. एंड द कॉस्ट ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस इज सो हाई. लाइक रेंट्स आर हाई, बिजली महंगी है, एवरीथिंग यू पे प्रीमियम फॉर जस्ट लिविंग इन इस्लामाबाद. लाइक द फूड प्राइसेस आर हायर, द एवरीथिंग इज हायर. सो थोड़ा सा मेरा ख्याल है कि सस्टेनेबल भी इसको बनाना चाहिए. व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट दैट?
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. There is planning, Hamza. There is a plan for Islamabad, for Rawalpindi, for the outskirts. but implementation bhi to ho.
Exactly.
I remember when we were going to get the land for the school, the free education project that we had. We were told by the government officials that this is a disputed land, and you don't know when we're going to bulldoze this, and that's why we asked them that if you had a plan to bulldoze them, why didn't you go ahead with it already?
Yeah.
So they said that our main objective was the relocation of people. What's going to happen to the people if you're
Yeah.
going to like just flatten all their houses and everything?
Yeah.
So they said that this is Pakistan. We first bulldoze them. We first transport them, and then we talk about their housing.
Yeah.
Had it been any other country, they would first accommodate the people that are living there, then think about plans to
Yeah.
properly disseminate the place, what to do about that place. So you're absolutely right. There is little planning, but my disagreement lies in the fact that there is short-term planning. This is what I've noticed working with foreign companies and working with Pakistani born and bred startups and companies, that there is a lot of short-term planning. And this is going to be very pernicious for them in the long run, because everybody has quarterly goals. Every company in the world does. But you need to have a roadmap for your own organization. There will be products, several products. You can't be relying on one product. So you need to have a plan for your organization, your company as well, how it's going to be growing, how I want to be taking this product or a service that I'm offering, how the culture is going to be affecting the productivity of everybody. So you need to be focusing on that as well. So इस्लामाबाद में रहते हुए भी आप लोगों को बहुत से backgrounds के लोग मिल जाएंगे. I have seen people work so hard, literally. And when I was working sales from home, working remotely, I felt a substantial change in my drive, because when you're on a sales floor and you see other people, that girl over there is actually making a sale and she's, putting all of her effort into it. That guy over there is literally doing all that he can to, bring that customer in.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of respect for such people, because they're the people, there are thousands like me, literally. And there are thousands of people that I've seen that are working day and night to bring the dollars in. And those dollars have helped Islamabad a lot.
Yeah,
all right,
for sure.
that money came from abroad. That money was spent in Islamabad.
Yeah.
So that's the vibe that has helped Pakistan, Islamabad specifically, a little bit.
Okay. So मुझे बताओ कि तुम्हारा अभी what startup are you working on, and do you ever plan to start your own thing? कोई idea मिला है, कुछ समझ आई है क्या करना है, या you still plan on gaining more experience before you jump into, because I think तुम्हारे अंदर है वो जरासीम जिसमें तुमको आया मैं अपना खोलूँगा, फंडिंग उठाते हैं. Although right now it's not a great time to go into these areas, because we don't know कि ये Titanic कब तक चल रही है, कब वो iceberg hit करना है, but क्या कहते हो, क्या सीन है?
Well, you know what they say about great minds. This has been the case, and this is what I did after my time at Careem and before I joined Keep Truckin', which is Motive now. They just rebranded themselves last year.
Yeah.
So I started helping out startups freelance, because I was the person for Careem in Islamabad specifically that went everywhere, from companies, multinationals that have offices in the diplomatic enclave. I went even to Raja Bazaar and all those small shops. So everybody knew, if you want to do business with Careem, this is the man that you go through with him. So after I left Careem, the word was out that I'm available. So a lot of companies,
the market.
Yeah, absolutely. So wherever I used to go, there used to be competition. And what was competition back then? It was Uber, right? So there was an offer from Uber. There was an offer from, I believe, Food Panda as well. And there was an opportunity at Food Panda that was aligning a lot. But I didn't want to ever associate myself with a competitor after I've worked with a company.
Okay.
This is something that I haven't done after Careem. I did not go into any ride-hailing company. And even after I worked at Motive, I did not join any other of their competitors, because you have to maintain some kind of integrity, loyalty towards your previous employer, because obviously they have taught you things, they have paid you, and they have given you experience as well. Plus, I would always want to be changing my industry. I have been into the transport and logistics primarily, but I wanted to go into other forms of businesses as well. So I started, doing my research, and that's where I wanted to develop my own consultancy, why I said wanted to, because I kind of failed to build a team, and I had quite a luck approaching companies on my own. For example, I learned that right at the start, your first clients, your first partners, suppliers are going to be coming out of your own phone book.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's what happened. My first client was a transport company that helped me transport my horse to Karachi, and that's I just saw that he gave me a receipt without a letterhead, and he said, "Oh, it's a horse. It's expensive, so you can just take my ID card. You can just take the photographs of my ID card." I was like, "Okay, I'll do that." But the actual way of doing things is to provide me with a letterhead of your own company, so that can be held up in court, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I consulted him a bit. I asked him to keep 1 or 2 people for support, so that people can be reaching out to them 24/7, and there was substantial growth in their business.
Nice.
And then I got approached by another friend of mine from university. In his own village, he wanted to go ahead with some kind of organic, I think it was गुड़, वो अपने इलाके का गुड़ जो है वो बेचना चाह रहा था. Yes, so he wanted to help me, want me to help him get the packaging, get the right people in. So that's how it started off. Just my own people, my own friends, my own people that I used as vendors. So I started helping companies out. I did try to build a team, but that was the worst time. Like you said, for any business, there was a pandemic which was already pretty much prevalent. And there was a war as well. So I could not make good use of my contacts abroad as well. I have been abroad quite some times, and I have been able to make connections all across the globe. But at that time, everybody was affected, literally. And COVID-19 did change a lot of things for a lot of people. So that's why I want to keep my portfolio diverse. Now I'm working in a food-related startup. It's an online ordering platform, just like Foodpanda in Australia. It's Next Order. And why I went for them after working with 2 unicorns, they're not a unicorn yet. So when I joined Kareem, when I joined Keep Truckin', Motive, they were already unicorns. They had crossed their $1 billion valuations. So I saw that people that had joined them earlier on, they were treated in a much better way. They got promoted, and they had a lot of say in the company. So this is what I was looking for. I was looking for the next unicorn, and I believe Next Order is doing really well in their ARR and all of their customer outreach.
मुझे ये बताओ कि जो तुम्हारा क्या नाम है whatever startup क्या है नेक्स्ट ऑर्डर है नेक्स्ट ऑर्डर का पाकिस्तानी वर्जन क्यों नहीं होना चाहिए यार आई मीन it's interesting if you go to people and just say okay, let me digital up your operations, right? I'll come to you, whatever, I understand what your business is, and उसमें मतलब improvements मैं ले आऊँगा, not just in terms of के letterhead वगैरह ये वो, but also like the fact के ordering system बन सकता है, website बन सकती है, आपके कोई ट्रैक आना शुरू हो जाएगा कि भाई इसको मैंने बेचा, इससे लिया, ऑल ऑफ दैट, अकाउंटिंग, टैक्सेशन, ये सारी चीज़ें सारे बिजनेसेस मांगते हैं. बट लाइक आइदर द कॉस्ट ऑफ इम्प्लीमेंटिंग दीज थिंग्स आर टू हाई, या फिर वो एक बार कोई बंदा लगा रहता है फिर वेबसाइट कभी अपडेट ही नहीं होती, वो बस बना तो कोई लेता है इस तरह, लेकिन it's an ongoing process. Like even if in terms of like social media, you can't just like आप आए आपने किया और बस चले गए. Like it's a like वही ना कि if you want to be that consultant, then offer them everything and then say कि यार सब्सक्रिप्शन ले लो, ठीक है ना, मैं आपको इम्प्रूव करता रहूँगा, ये वो फलाना देखता रहूँगा, आई विल, कुछ चीज़ें मेरी जिम्मेदारी होंगी, कुछ चीज़ों पे आपको छोटा रख लें, whatever. And I think there is a lot of space, don't you think?
Definitely, and this is where Next Order is doing far better than its competitors. It's fairly a younger company with respect to its competitors, but it's still on to becoming the second largest provider in Australia. It's already the third largest. And the reason is that they keep, like you said, they keep engaging their customers. They keep going at it. They don't stop. They keep updating their websites, their customers, which are the restaurants and bars and grills and everything. They need to keep engaging with their existing customers. I believe that any business, most businesses, they don't run on first-time buyers. Yeah. They run on existing customers.
Long-term.
Long-term customers. So how do you keep a track of that? You need to have a data. Like you just mentioned, financial reporting. It is so important, Hamza. You need to be taking data-driven decisions, right?
Yeah.
I cannot emphasize on this enough. और पाकिस्तान में इस चीज़ की वैल्यू अब बढ़ना शुरू हो गई है कि क्यों आपको SMS कैंपेन करनी है, क्यों आपको ईमेल कैंपेन करना ज़रूरी है, बिकॉज यू नीड टू गेट योर वर्ड आउट देयर. एंड स्पीकिंग ऑफ मार्केटिंग रिसर्च दैट यू वर ऑल्सो आस्किंग मी अबाउट, दैट in order to market your product, you need to do the market research first. So how are you going to do that? You need to ask the people who you're going to be selling to. That's going to help you develop a product or a service that's going to be able to, you'll be able to sell it. People are going to be using it. If you don't know who you're selling to, you won't be able to make what you want to. So you need to be making something that's going to be, a sort of a solution out there. You can't just be focusing on money. I have probably oversaid this in my life, but it's very important to see that a business that makes nothing but money is a poor business. And Pakistani businessmen really need to focus on this. Jeff Bezos keeps on, saying customer-centric. And there's a reason for that. You need to work a lot on customer experience. And that's what's gonna be the deal breaker for you. How you're dealing with your customers, how happy they are, both existing and new customer acquisitions. So if they see that somebody is going if not out of their way, they're trying their best to do their job, even if they're not getting any money out of it, people would want to do their business with them. So this is how to approach the marketing bit. And next order, to answer your question specifically, the founders, Will and Brody, they're very well invested into their startup, and this is something that really is a differentiating factor in a lot of startups that fail and are successful. That the founders, the first original team members, they need to be the examples. They need to be leading by examples. They need to be working with the team. And sadly, in Pakistani born and bred startups, I've noticed that there is a lot of element of glamour, and there is a lot of them being one of the elites, and they're not that motivated. Again, they might be looking at how successful the owner of the company or the founder is, but they need to be talking about their goals as well. And I don't think it's one of the goals of Next Order to be scaling into South Asia right now, but they are scaling into the UK market, and they're already in the UK market.
I was not talking about Next Order. I'm just saying that there's a lot of space for any Pakistani startup to cater for. मतलब मैं कहने का मकसद है कि नेक्स्ट ऑर्डर का पाकिस्तान वर्जन भी जो है वो यहाँ पे काफ़ी चल सकता है, क्योंकि there's a lot of market for businesses who would want to digital up and sell to a bigger market. जैसे हमारे सामने फूड पांडा वगैरह के वो they have captured the market, and वो तो काफ़ी बहुत ज़्यादा चार्ज भी कर रहे हैं, बट लोग दे रहे हैं because there is no other way to have like a digital presence. मतलब फूड पांडा यही कह रहा है ना कि बहुत सारी वेबसाइट्स, बहुत सारे बिजनेसेस जो थे ही नहीं कभी कोई डिजिटल, उनकी इम्प्रिंट ही नहीं था अपार्ट फ्रॉम गूगल का जो उन्होंने बना दिया कि GMI लोकेशन है. इसके अलावा तो ना किसी की वेबसाइट होती है, ना किसी का कोई सोशल मीडिया पेज को बहुत अच्छा चल रहा होता है. एंड देन ऑब्वियसली फूड पांडा इज ऑल्सो प्रोवाइडिंग अ लॉट ऑफ कस्टमर्स, देयर इज नो डाउट अबाउट इट, बट लाइक दिस इज द बिग, बहुत बड़ा चंक लेके जाते हैं यार उस ऑर्डर में से. सो आई थिंक दिस इज अ लॉट ऑफ स्पेस हियर, बट मैंने तो नहीं को देखा कोई ये चीते इधर उधर कुछ आया था, बट दे ऑल्सो जस्ट क्लोज डाउन. सो आई डोंट नो व्हाट पीपल आर डूइंग रॉन्ग. आई एम जस्ट सेइंग कि रादर देन हैविंग दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ अ मॉडल, just give people like a monthly subscription और वो से कहो कि ठीक है हम आपका अपग्रेड कर देते हैं सिस्टम और ये वो. I think there's a lot of space. What do you think?
Yes, definitely. So one of the first things that I ask any business owner, which probably I asked you as well, is how's business these days, and why are you doing this? What is the reason behind you doing this business? And most of them would say money, of course, but I believe that's the wrong objective to be going at right at the start, because first you need to build and then you need to go towards it. Food Panda has been at a point for some time that they could go up for the money and they could play around with the commissions, and people would need them. But any business really, if they want to work at it, they can increase their own online presence. They can actually have a substantial increase in their reviews. Testimonials are gold. All right, data and testimonials are gold for any company. And it's there's a thing called impulse buying. If I have seen Hamza use something in front of me, I would be inclined to purchase that. That guy is using it. There must be something about it. So this is the way that Food Panda has led as well, and they've done a great job, honestly. And Food Panda and Careem had the first mover advantage, but again, Surf Excel को 15 साल लग गए लोगों को ये चीज़ यूज टू कराने में कि वॉशिंग पाउडर की जगह जाओ सर्फ ले आओ. करीम ने 2 साल में आके टैक्सी ले आओ की जगह करीम कर दिया. So this is the word of mouth that works, and you have to rely on that. Any kind of business, it works through references, through any kind of referral programs that you have. Careem and Keep Truckin' initially, before being Motive, it started off as companies for the common people, all right, helping the common man out and all of that. And they were very successful until they stuck to that. And they have rebranded themselves. Careem got acquired by Uber. There was a substantial decrease in their service. People were unhappy about it. People started moving their, even rides from there.
अब तो InDrive काफी fit चल रहा है.
Yes. So why did that happen? Same as the example that you're giving with Food Panda and their commissions. Careem had a lot of commissions, and the prices for petrol had gone up as well. So they weren't facilitating the drivers that much. So there was a new opportunity for the riders and the drivers in InDrive. They just latched onto it the first chance they got. And that helped InDrive a lot. So even though they were not the first ones here, because Careem ne aadat lagwa di logon ko ye use karne ki, that helped brilliantly over here. And why was Careem successful in countries like Pakistan and the Middle East? Because Uber initially came in as a ride-sharing platform. That couldn't work in majority of the Islamic countries, right? We have a culture of shame and respect.
I think more than shame and respect is there's also lack of security as well now.
That is true.
Yeah.
So there is that, but that's where the founders of Careem, they're amazing people as well. I've met all of them, Mudassir and Magnus, and I actually got to know why the company itself is successful, because they led the company as an example as well. They were the first captains themselves.
Nice.
So they knew what the on-ground realities are, and they know, boots on the ground basically know how the war is going. So you need to keep engaging with anybody who you have on the front lines. You need to be asking them how it is, and all that data is always going to be helpful. There is never a downside of having more data. There is never one.
Yeah. Waleed, any concluding remarks? I think I've reached the maximum of my questions. I think तुमने इतने अच्छे तरीके से explain किया सब कुछ के मेरे तो questions नहीं है, but is there anything that you would want to add?
Yes, I would want to focus on the stark differences that I saw in working with Pakistani companies and the foreign companies, because the main objective of my consulting firm was always and still is empowering and enriching the startup ecosystem of Pakistan. And the problems that I've seen are quite common, so we can tackle them, right? So the first few problems are the whole the goals and organizational theory of the company itself. Pakistani businesses, I've noticed, are designed in a way to firstly benefit the business owner, then friends and family of the business owner in the company. Third पे आ जाते हैं partners, suppliers, investors. Fourth पे आ जाते हैं customers, and fifth पे जाके employees. All right? Foreign companies में क्या होता है? Number 1 पे customer है, Number 2 पे customer है, Number 3 पे जाके वो फिर अपनी एक organizational जो allocation of resources है उनको देखते हैं. उसमें employees भी आ जाते हैं, उसमें partners और investors भी आ जाते हैं. So this is something that the ideology needs to be changed and corrected and literally preached out there, that you need to build your business around your customer, and you need to be improving lives of your employees as well. Unicorn बनने का सबको शौक है, लेकिन they don't replicate truly what all of those companies did. They improved the lives of their customers and their employees. All right, that's why people want to not just buy their products, they want to work with them as well. So this is what I've seen. So nepotism is quite prevalent, and all the business owners in Pakistan, they really need to look inward into their inner circles, because every company is run by the inner circles, and they need to see who the people are that feel a bit untouchable. That when there is a certain element present in a company that really dissuades other people and demotivates other people, and there is actually no accountability for anybody, then all right, there's going to be favoritism, there's going to be targeting. So that in nobody would want to work in such an environment. So work well ki to baat hi khatam ho jati hai wahan pe. So yeah, that's one of the few things that I think that they need to be focusing on. Other apart from that, allocation of resources is very important. अभी देखें हमारे फंडिंग के राउंड्स चलते रहे हैं पिछले कुछ सालों में. A few companies have done remarkably well. Uh, uh, I would want to mention Truck It In and Taleemabad. You have to watch out for these startups. They're going to make it big, inshallah, because they are taking it the right way. I feel that the way they are, they're making the right kind of noise. जोर से ज़्यादा शोर वाला चक्कर नहीं है. Because I've seen a lot of faking it till you make it. That's what I've noticed, that people are following the wrong kind of leaders, and you need to be focusing on your own goals while aligning them with whatever company you're working with. So allocation of resources भी तभी बेहतर हो सकती है that you focus on meritocracy rather than personal relations, and उसी से फिर आपकी output भी बढ़ेगा. ज़ाहिर है आप लोग, everybody wants to make it big. A startup is like a baby for somebody, right? You want to see it grow, you want to see it get famous. So take it like that. Your employees are not going to take your business as their business. It's impossible to do that. So focus on the customer and also on your employees, and work around a culture in the company that is open and that is very transparent. So there is an element of miscommitting while hiring in Pakistan. I've noticed that there is mismanagement of fresh hires, and that's really dangerous, because the worst thing for any company, I believe, is not that they don't get their hands on the top talent, the best people out there. The worst thing for any company would really be the best people coming and then leaving. Because they will deter other people from coming in. All right. I told you, word of mouth works like anything, works like a charm for any kind of business, small or big. So you need to be focusing on that as well. And if I want to close, I would want to close with a few of the sales tips that I do give out. It's really essential for anybody to have that kind of communication skills, and to be able to put your point across and also take out pointers from the other person around. So how many professions can you name, Hamza, that would require good communication skills?
I think most of them. I don't think there's a lot jo koi nahi bhi.
Absolutely. Whether you're a news reporter, whether you're a talk show host, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're anybody, even a business owner.
Or a barber or whoever. Yeah. Everywhere.
You would need negotiation skills at some point, right? So in order to be better at that, is just a few things that I want to mention, is that always be asking the right questions. You can sell anything to anybody. You can literally sell ice to an Eskimo if you ask the right questions. The most common example is, sell me this pen. And what are the most common questions that you need to be asking the other person is, that what kind of profession are you? Do you like to type? Do you like to write? That's going to get you somewhere, all right? And in most cases, when you're selling a product or a service, focus on their current provider more, all right? How's it going with them? Would you like to, how would you rate your current system? 10 being amazing, 1 being bad. So hardly anybody is going to be saying 10. And even if they say, I go like, oh, perfection is for God, How did you get your hands on such a product? Tell me more about it. What's working out well for them? It's not just what's working out bad. Tell me what's working out well with them. I want to learn. Be a consultant for them. Have that kind of approach, that I'm here to just know your problems. I would want you to evaluate a better option for your business. When you say the word, I want you to evaluate a better option, so automatically they see they want to explore that option. Right? So at the start, you need to be asking the right questions. That's when you don't assume. The most common mistakes is people assume. In my line of work, assumption is a crime, literally. And I would want to relate this to Napoleon, because I love history. I've read upon a lot of things. So Napoleon left nothing to chance, Hamza. That's how you master your destiny. So if you have the right set of answers, you will know your way around the information. And there is no lying in sales. there is no manipulation in sales, all right? You're just working with the information the prospect or the customer has given you, all right? And that's the successful way around it. And again, in my sessions with the people that I train for sales and communication skills, and I also tell them that Sun Tzu mentioned this in The Art of War, that I might not be phrasing it correctly, but I remember the gist of it was that there is no reason to move if you don't move wisely. All right. So be patient. Be patient with it. The right kind of deal, the right kind of job, the right kind of paycheck is going to come. You just have to keep at it. Right.
Yeah.
You just have to keep
So
going.
true.
And closing with one of the things that I got from Maulana Tariq Jameel साहब, उनके एक बयान में मैंने एक चीज़ थी जो मैंने इनको अपनी ट्रेनिंग का पार्ट बना लिया, जो कि बहुत से सेल्स गुरुज आप अगर यूट्यूब पे देखें अपनी उनमें मेंशन करते हैं, दैट योर एंट्रेंस एंड योर एग्जिट नीड्स टू बी स्पॉट ऑन। ऑलराइट, जब आप एक गैदरिंग में आते हैं तो आपका आना इतना वार्म होना चाहिए कि उनको पता चलना चाहिए कि हमजा आया है, वलीद आया है, तो दैट्स गोइंग टू बी दैट्स गोइंग टू बी रियली नाइस फॉर एवरीबडी, नॉट जस्ट यू। एंड व्हेन यू लीव, दैट शुड ऑल्सो बी वेरी वार्म, दैट शुड ऑल्सो बी वेरी कि हमजा उठ के गया, वलीद उठ के गया, पता चलना चाहिए। बीच में अगर कोई बदमज़गी भी हुई होगी तो लोगों को नहीं याद रहेगी वो। अगर आपका इंट्रो और एग्जिट स्पॉट ऑन है, आप फॉलो अप करें कस्टमर के साथ, आप फॉलो अप करें प्रोस्पेक्ट के साथ, आप फॉलो अप करें HR के साथ, you'll get that deal, you'll get that sale, you'll get that job, inshallah. Following up is very important. So these are the few things. I am a certified sales methodologist, and this is what I learned. PURF, PURF. I've mentioned this earlier. Prepare, understand, recommend, and follow through. Follow up. You'll be able to do it.
Nice. Thank you so much. इससे तो मैंने भी कुछ 4-5 चीज़ें सीख ली. Well, thank you so much for your time, Waleed, and it was a great conversation. And मतलब ये है कि बेच लिया तुमने अपने आप को मुझे. But yeah, I think it is very necessary कि वो इलॉन मस्क का भी कोट था कि like अगर कोई स्किल सीखना है ज़िंदगी में तो वो सेल्स है, और कोई स्किल नहीं है दुनिया में.
Nice. But do you feel that it's going to be a dying art? Do you feel that?
I don't think so. I think कि मतलब AI और computers और ये वो कुछ चीज़ें उसको obviously improve कर देंगे, कोई शक नहीं है इसमें. लेकिन जो एक one-to-one human relation है ना, उसको कोई AI कोई computer change नहीं कर सकता, मुझे नहीं लगता. Like even अभी भी आप देखो कि you have दराज है, फलाना है, you have all of these conveniences जो आप on Amazon है ये वो, but there's still space for in-store. People like to go see the product in their hand or whatever, or experience it, and then they want to buy. ये मतलब ये वही वाली बात है कि जिस तरह उस दिन भी हमें इस बारे में बात कर रहे थे कि यार लोगों को क्यों नहीं एक्सपोजर समझ आता जब सारी वीडियोस ऑनलाइन गिवन है. फॉर एग्जांपल, या जैसा आप कहते हो कि यार एक बंदा है वो दुबई देख सकता है ऑन देयर फोन, और दे कैन वॉच और दे कैन सी के शिकागो में क्या हो रहा है, ये वो देख सकते हैं न्यूयॉर्क में क्या चल रहा है. आप जितना मर्जी उसको वीडियो दिखा लो, ठीक है, उस बंदे को उठाओ और एक दिन दुबई खड़ा करोगे ना, वो एक्सपीरियंस कोई बीट नहीं कर सकता. ठीक है, द वेरी फैक्ट दैट you're breathing it, you're seeing it, you can touch it, you can eat it, whatever, the immersive experience of the real world, I don't think can ever be replicated in the virtual world. Yes, you can create a virtual world which can give you that experience, but किस तरह हवा, sight, sounds, everything that the way your brain processes that information. Even अच्छा, और ये तो मैं तुम्हें चलो हायर उसमें लेके जा रहा हूँ. अगर मुझे तुम कितनी वीडियोस दिखा दो फ्लड्स की कि यार ये देखो लोग पानी के नीचे हैं, ऑल ऑफ दैट, अगर तुम मुझे एक दिन वहां जाके कहो ना कि रहो बेटे, सही है, तो वो जो एक्सपीरियंस है ना, वो मैं कभी रेप्लिकेट नहीं कर सकता. मैं यहाँ बैठ के जितनी मर्जी दुआएं कर लूँ या पैसे भेज दूँ या व्हाटएवर, वो मच्छरों में एक रात गुजारो, एंड देन यू विल नो कि वो वही ना बूट्स ऑन द ग्राउंड वाली जो बात है. सो आई डोंट थिंक इट्स अ डाइंग आर्ट. आई जस्ट थिंक इट्स गोना गेट different. It can get different, but जो जैसा अमेरिका में भी अभी भी ये वो जो कार सेल्समैन है, सही, उनके लोगों के रिलेशन होते हैं वो सालों साल चल रहे होते हैं, सही, एंड नो अमाउंट ऑफ व्हाटएवर इज गोइंग, या बैंकर्स हैं या जो इस तरह ह्यूमन कनेक्शन वाले जो रिलेशन है ना, लोग नहीं छोड़ते. लोग कहते हैं यार ट्रस्ट बना, मैं उसकी बूथी को जानता हूँ, मैं उसकी फैमिली को जानता हूँ. सो नो AI और नो कंप्यूटर इज गोना कम इन एंड से यार नहीं.
I'd like to give an example over here. This is one of the most prominent sales calls that I've ever had. So, like you mentioned at the start, that शुरू में ही बात सुन ले कोई जो
हाँ,
सेल हो सकती है.
हाँ,
So your entrance has to be really well.
yeah,
I called up a customer and he goes to me, my wife's having a kid right now. She's in the hospital. What are you calling me for?
yeah,
Like, oh, I apologize.
yeah,
I know, I understand it's not a good time. So I'll call you next week. All right. All the best. That's it. I called the prospect up next week. And for the first 10 minutes, Hamza, we only talked about the baby. हम उसके फ्यूचर तक पहुंच गए.
yeah.
So, and then I managed to, present my solution
Yeah.
and make a sale in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Had I not done that, I would have spent the entire 15 minutes trying to make a sale
Yeah,
and not,
would not have
so
happened.
report building is
Yeah.
is really important. And you're absolutely right. Humans can certainly do that better than
Yeah,
any
I
AI
think
yet.
it's irreplaceable ना मतलब कि आप वो kind you know the feeling that you get from meeting a friend सही है, it's not comparable to something that you see over the screen. You know, आपका वो जो एयरपोर्ट पे हग है
Yes.
सही है, वो आप कैसे मतलब रिप्रोड्यूस करोगे इन अ वर्चुअल एनवायरनमेंट में? जितना मर्जी एक रोबोट हो मैं उसको इस तरह कर, doesn't get you that,
True.
तो जो ये मतलब रिश्ते हैं या जो भी रिलेशनशिप्स आप बनाते हो, वेदर इट्स प्रोफेशनल और अदरवाइज, दे रिक्वायर, उनकी कोई वैल्यू अभी तक मुझे तो नहीं लगता कि हाँ ठीक है तुम AI से यूज़ करके उस बंदे के दिमाग तक पहुंच जाओगे कि यार आजकल ये इस चीज़ के बारे में ज़्यादा परेशान है, वो तुम कर सकते हो लाइक, और उसके ऑब्वियसली नेगेटिव वो हैं, लेकिन आई डोंट थिंक दैट अ गुड सेल्समैन एंड अ गुड सेल्समैन विल नेवर फेल, बिकॉज वो जहाँ भी जाएगा, दुनिया का कोई भी बिजनेस है ना, उसने सेल जरूर करनी.
Very true.
इट्स वेरी सिंपल, सही है. और लिटरली लोगों के पास लाखों का टैलेंट होता है, सही है, लेकिन उनको कस्टमर लाने नहीं आते.
Yes.
और वो उनकी बड़ी सड़ती है इस चीज़ से कि यार हम सारा काम करते हैं पीछे, हम सारी
हम
चीज़ें
इतने पढ़े लिखे हैं.
हाँ, ऑल ऑफ दैट, एंड लाइक एज अ बिजनेस एज वेल, आप जो मर्जी कर लो, ठीक है, आप बना लो अपने ऑपरेशंस और फलाना, और बहुत ज़्यादा माथामारी होती है, सही है, बट जो बंदा बाहर से जाके सेल लेके आ रहा है, जो पैसे लेके आ रहा है, उसकी वैल्यू हमेशा ऊपर ही रहेगी.
That is true.
सही है. सो इट इज़ अ स्किल फॉर एवरीवेयर, लाइक इवन इफ यू वांट टू डू समथिंग ऑनलाइन, कोई क्लाइंट लेना है तो बात तो करनी आनी चाहिए ना भाई, उसको उसके पेन पॉइंट्स तो समझ आने चाहिए ना भाई, सही है. अगर वो नहीं आते तो तुम्हारा जितना मैं तुम बेस्ट वीडियो एडिटर हो, बेस्ट कॉपी राइटर हो, बेस्ट हुएवर हो, इफ यू डोंट नो हाउ टू sell it, you're as good as anything. पिछली मैं पॉडकास्ट में कह था, फराज अनवर का पता तुम्हें, जो गिटार स्टार बजाता था, he was one of the best, right, of this country or even South Asia, whatever. couldn't create a band, couldn't create a relation with the customers जो उसके थे, and he was mediocre. And there were far mediocre musicians, ठीक है, जो ऑटो ट्यून यूज कर रहे हैं, जो बड़ा कुछ और भी कर रहे हैं, बट what they're doing is वो कंसिस्टेंटली एक ऑडियंस से अपनी बात तो कर रहे हैं ना यार, उनको कोई रिलेशन तो है ऑडियंस के साथ. वही छोटे करके लोग then they become a group and they buy your brand. What is a musician's business? You have to sell your brand, और अगलों ने खरीदना है. अगर आप आकड़ में रहोगे मैं दुनिया का सबसे अच्छा हूँ तो कोई फायदा नहीं होगा ना, सही है. So this is so having sales is like unlocking the world of all of the money that you want, because if you're able to sell anything, वही ना, sell me this pen का क्या मतलब, if you're able to do that, तो you can sell anything. कल बास्केट बेच रहे होगे कुछ, it's just the fact that people don't really respect it that much. ठीक है, ये बहुत बड़ा मसला है मार्केट में कि यार वो हम सेल्स, मैं कहता हूँ कि अपॉर्चुनिटी है कि तुम दुनिया का बेस्ट स्किल सीख सकते हो.
That's true. And sales has done a lot good to my life as well. I have made a lot of money out of it. I got to fulfill a lot of my dreams just because of the money I made out of sales. And my goals and dreams were pretty clear to me by the end of my 20s. I have had an amazing 20s, and I would really want people to invest a lot in themselves during their 20s, because that's the time that you can do things, you can take risks, make mistakes, and you're going to be learning a lot. And you need to be satisfied with how you spent your 20s. I've seen that regret in 30s and 40-year-old people that, I wish I'd done that, all of that. Don't be that person. Do what you can when you can, especially in your 20s. So you will be able to, be confident, and you will be able to look ahead. All right? आपने अपनी ड्रीम वेकेशन पे जाना है, आप कर लेंगे. आपने अपनी ड्रीम कार लेनी है, आप ले लेंगे. But there is always going to be something next. You can't just be, letting a few sports cars dictate your success, a piece of land to just tell that how successful you have been, you have to keep on engaging, you have to keep on going at it. And this is what a salesperson needs to be doing. There is a lot of patience involved, and there is a lot of
resilience involved.
Yes,
वो बहुत ज़रूरी है कि अगर आप एक दिन आपका ऑफ गया तो अगला दिन भी है यार, अगर अल्लाह ने दे दिया अगला दिन सही है तो हाँ श्योर अगला दिन भी है, उससे अगला दिन भी है. एंड देयर इज limitless customers in the world, whatever you want to sell.
And since you mentioned the respect that the salespeople have in the company is immense, because the money that they're bringing in, that's being reinvested in the company.
यार सबसे आसान होता है ना सेल्स का, like as an entrepreneur, it's the easiest decision to make to hire someone on sales, because directly पैसे आ रहे हैं. ठीक है, बाकी सब चीज़ों में तुम निरे खर्चे हो कंपनी के लिए, सही है. तुम्हें मैं अगर ऑपरेशंस में रख रहा हूँ, अकाउंट्स में रख रहा हूँ, फाइनेंस में रख रहा हूँ, व्हाटएवर, ठीक है, जो भी है उनका भी इंपॉर्टेंस है.
सबकी सैलरीज तो सेल्स से निकल रही है.
एग्जैक्टली, वो सिर्फ टाइम मतलब वो बेसिकली सिर्फ खर्चा करा रहे हैं उस कंपनी का, सही है. और जो सेल्स वाला बंदा है वो पैसे लेके आ रहा है, तो मोस्टली वो अपनी सैलरी खुद निकाल रहे हैं इन अ सेंस, राइट.
और बाकियों की भी
राइट. तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि लोगों को ये बात नहीं समझ आती कि कितने इंटेग्रेटेड. इफ यू आर गुड सेल्समैन, नो वन वांट्स टू लेट यू गो, नो वन वांट्स टू. मैं बड़ी दफ़ा एग्जांपल देता था कि जो कोक का सबसे बड़ा सपोज करो इस्लामाबाद का सप्लायर है, हुएवर जो बेच रहा है मेनली, वो ज़्यादा वैल्यूएबल होगा देन एनी डायरेक्टर देन फलाना, क्योंकि वो डायरेक्टली पैसों से लिंक्ड है, सही है. तो वो डायरेक्टर जो है ना उसको बेशक कहेंगे, मतलब इनका अगर फड्डा हो जाए, हु विल दे लेट गो is my question. अगर नहीं हो रहा, वो कहते हैं या वो रहेगा या मैं रहूंगा, सही है. Who will they choose? They will always choose the business, because obviously वो कहेंगे यार इसको तो मैं कल कोई और आ जाएगा, वो ले लेगा पर्क सारे, लेकिन इसको नहीं मैं खोना चाहता. So I also saw, I was जुगलबंदी के टाइम में I was doing this ये प्रिंटिंग करवा रहा था ओप्पो की on the boards and everything. So वो प्लाजे का ना ओनर था, G9 का प्लाजा था, तो उसमें वो सारे ओप्पो के बोर्ड्स उन्होंने करना था, तो they wanted to do a group negotiation. तो यार वो बंदा आकर नहीं गया, उसने कहा यार भाई हम इतने पैसे लेंगे, सही है. और ओप्पो वाले ना आगे पीछे घूम रहे हैं चाइनीज उनके कि यार प्लीज कुछ कर लो ये वो आकर के उन्होंने कहा यार 30,000 में पता नहीं कितना, मुझे याद नहीं है, कि पर जो है वो तुम हमें दोगे, एक इतना खाना करोगे, ये करोगे, वो. अब मैं सोच रहा कि वो ये एम्प्लॉयज को फायर कर देगा ओप्पो, लेकिन वो इनको नहीं जाने देगा, सही. So I saw that power first hand, even as a big company that Oppo is, कि वो लोग भी घुटने टेकने को तैयार थे कि यार जो ये कह रहे हैं भाई हमारी वैल्यू इससे ज़्यादा है. और वो क्या था, वो ऑब्वियसली एडवर्टाइजमेंट है, उससे सीधी सेल होनी है. तो यू कांट, मतलब वो बेसिकली तो उनकी सेल्स शॉप ही है ना, अगर आप बोर्ड लगा रहे हो तो ऑल ऑफ दैट दिस इज सेल शॉप. So this is something that people need to understand, that the value of sales, if you're a good salesman, you have value everywhere,
absolutely,
across the world, and you will always be able to morph it into something else. If you have these skills, आप morph करके कुछ और बन जाओगे. आप कहोगे यार मैं इसको बेच लेता हूँ, मैं इसको बेच लेता हूँ, मैं इसको बेच लेता हूँ, whatever. So खैर we've already घंटा हो गया अब.
That's amazing.
So yeah, thank you so much for your time, William. And
thank you for having me.
बहुत मजा आया, and इंशाल्लाह ये मार्च में आएगी पॉडकास्ट, बट चलो.
इंशाल्लाह.
Okay.